Saskatoon continues to shine on the world stage. We have Trevor Jacek with us today, an international runner, if you will, and some impressive stats that you have. Thanks for coming down today.
Thanks, Randy. Glad to be here.
I want to talk about the world of competitive sports and masters and what you do. Can you share a little bit with our audience about who Trevor is in his everyday job and what he does when he comes alive at night and on weekends?
Yes, by day, involved with Midwest Development. We are a commercial real estate development and investment company. I'm the chief financial officer. By night, by weekend, by morning, master's track and field athlete. I've been running for about 10 years, and then I guess got pretty obsessed with competitive sports, competitive running, and I got pretty into master's track and field running in 400, 800, 1500 meter events.
So when you say masters, that must mean an age limit that it starts at and caps out at?
That's right. So like most master sports, they start somewhere around age 35. Masters track and field, it's all in 5-year age increments. So there's 35 to 39s compete together, 40, 44, so on. You get 85-year-olds, 90-year-olds competing against their peer group. It's pretty cool.
And do all of you run at the same time, or just that heat and so on with that?
It generally, it depends on the meet. The smaller the meet, the more the age groups get mixed up together. Even though you're competing against your peer group, they might run adjacent age groups together. But as you get to larger and more competitive meets, you're purely competing against men or women in your own age group.
And the training that must go into this is you don't just happen to wake up one morning and go running. What's involved there?
Hey, it's a lot of dedication. It's mostly fun. Sometimes you're in the middle of a workout and you think, why the heck? Why am I doing this to myself? It's painful. It hurts. It hurts when you're doing it. Sometimes you're tired and sore after, but it's extremely rewarding. I probably spend somewhere between 8, 10, 12 hours a week on dedicated training that might mean going for an easy run or a lot of hard dedicated workouts, time in the gym, time, recovering, working on your body to make sure you're good to go for the next workout or the next competition.
So if you train for a 1500 or a 400, are those drastically different or similar?
They kind of are. So my main event is 800 meters. So as a runner, the feedback or the comment I get most is, hey, are you running a marathon? Are you running a marathon, which is 26 miles long, 42 kilometers long, and takes 3-4 hours depending on the fitness of the individual running it. An 800 meter race takes 2 minutes, so it's not a 10
for you.
It's not a 10-second sprint, but it's also not a multi-hour endurance event. That being said, hey, the training, I do a lot of running. Go out for a run and it could be hit it hard for an hour, or you do something where you're 30 seconds all out, a little bit of recovery and repeating. So yeah, the training regimen is very vast. 400 meter is it's a long sprint, so you're working on your pure speed. 1500 meters is basically a mile. It's a little bit more of an endurance event, and it's kind of a broad spectrum to try and excel in, and I'm sort of best at the 800 meters, but trying to spread my wings and compete at multiple different disciplines.
So you are with a Canadian team then?
Yeah, so locally I run with a group called Running Wild Athletics Club. We've got a real broad range of people in our group of athletes. We've got guys that are men and women, or boys and girls that are sort of at the end of their elementary, early high school, 14 years old. And then we have some really good masters athletes that are in their 60s and 70s. So we have a real diverse training group. We work 2-3 times a week together. And then I've also been fortunate enough to be able to tag along with Huskies men's track and field team this winter and train with those guys too.
So you're busy.
Yeah.
How do you arrange to compete at different places? I mean, this is international.
Yeah. So I've been really, really fortunate to have some opportunities in the last couple of years here. A few weeks ago, I got back from Torun, Poland. I was at the 2023 World Masters Athletics Championships, indoor track and field championships. There was, I don't know, 42 or 4,400 athletes from 88 countries. Probably about, I can't remember, 50 or 60 athletes on Team Canada. And my wife and I went, and we sort of made it partially a holiday and partly it was the pinnacle of my 2023 track season here, where I tried to peak and perform well on an international stage.
I noticed that some of the pictures that we have you listed first in some of these categories. What are some times in different heats that you're running?
So I've been able to run 400 meters, which is a quarter mile, in 56 seconds. That's the Saskatchewan record for my age group. 2 minutes 6 seconds in the 800, and 4 minutes and 25 seconds in the 1500.
And there was a baton that I saw you carrying in a relay. But how do you choose the people that you're running with? Is that sanctioned by someone at a different level?
Typically it was. At the World Championships, there were sprint relays. We didn't really have a lot of sprinters on Team Canada, so we put together a team of, I say, middle distance, 800-meter specialists running in a 4x2 relay. So we were a little bit out of our element, but did reasonably well. It was more for fun. At the Canadian Championships in February in Toronto, I was fortunate. I won the 800-meter title. And then the next day, some of the other athletes that I competed with were very, very good athletes, very good runners, kind of came together and they said, hey, what if we tried to run 4x8 relay and tried to challenge the Canadian record? And so we had 4 pretty good guys, and I'm pretty beat. I've had a whole weekend. I've competed 4 times already, and this was the very last event at the end of a busy weekend. And they said, hey, the record's 8 minutes, 45 seconds. I think we could challenge it. And we sort of figured out, okay, who we have on the team, what each guy needs to run in terms of relay leg to beat this record. And so it was a guy from Manitoba and 2 guys from Athletics Ontario. We came together as sort of a, I say, stacked team, put together team to challenge this Canadian record. So the record was 8:45, and we finished it in 8:44.69, I think it was, like 0.4 of a second under the national record. So it was sort of a thrown together team to challenge the national record, and we were very fortunate and excited to be able to slightly beat it.
When you look at traveling someplace to compete, is there, I want to go here, or are you invited? How does that process work for you? So
the World Masters Athletics Association is sort of the sanctioning body for all the world for Masters Athletics, and on every second year there's a World Outdoor Championships, and then on the alternating years there's a Indoor Championship. So basically once per year there's a World Championship where everyone in the world, that generally all of the top athletes in your age group in the world, would sort of strive and say, hey, that's where I want to compete on the world stage against, we had some really good guys from Canada, the top Americans will be there, the guys from Brazil, Italy, Algeria, pick your country. Everyone's sort of saying, hey, we're going to meet the other guys that are at the top of the world. In 2024, we're planning to go to Gothenburg, Sweden for the World Championships. And so, it's April 2023 right now. That'll be the next main international meet. So I'll sort of plan my training cycle around being as fast as possible August 2024 to compete against all the fastest dudes in the world.
That's wild. I'm trying to figure out then, are there some of the people that are running, do they compete in the Olympics, or are they in any other types of leagues?
Certainly. So there's 4,000 athletes at this World Masters Championships that we were at a couple of weeks ago. There are certainly a handful of the participants there were ex-Olympians or people that were world class, I say in a different life, when they were a little bit younger. A lot of the people there were very, very good college athletes that had maybe, taken a little bit of time off, and in their 40s, 50s, 60s really spooled up again and decided, hey, they've still got that competitive spirit in their body, and they want to become the best version of themselves. They may not be, quite as fast or throw as far or jump as far as they did in college or at their true prime, but they're sort of trying to have a second peak and become the best version of themselves at the age they are right now.
Tell me, it's not just about winning, because obviously you can't always win everything. Yeah. So there has to be some camaraderie and travel and fun associated with this as well.
Absolutely. So with the local scene in Saskatchewan with masters athletics or track and field, some of the guys I train with, what they really eye up, they want to be the number one guy in Saskatchewan. That's kind of everyone or every woman's goal in their age group. But above and beyond that, it's sort of, I say, chasing the ghosts of the people that were there in front of you. So what is the provincial record? So if you're a 57-year-old man and you run the 800 meters, you might already be the fastest guy in Saskatchewan, but maybe you want to say, hey, what's the provincial record? What did the guy run the fastest guy run ever in the history of Saskatchewan? And that's the mark that I want to beat. And, so you can challenge the records, even if there's no one locally to race against that day. Above and beyond that, who are the other fastest guys in Canada? And it's even, meeting them, connecting with them, following, there might be a guy, and there is true for me, there's guys that I've met, or guys, some of them that I haven't met, and you connect online and you see what the guy's running in Alberta or what the guy's running in Nova Scotia, and saying, hey, this guy's run 207, I've run 208, we're gonna meet at the national championships, and we'll see who's, and we're cheering for each other, and it's competitive, but it's also fun, right? We all have the same goal. We have, we're going through the same journey together. When we were overseas, we were in Europe, on a holiday, but also a competition here, and you're just meeting so many neat people that have a lot of the same interests, the same mindset on life. They want to become the best version of themselves. And for me, it's just a really neat way to leverage your hobby. Maybe it's become more of a hobby, but leverage your hobby into something that's creating lifelong memories and providing for the opportunity to have some absolutely wonderful adventures.
Trevor, I know there's going to be people that want to know more about this. How would they get a hold of you if they wanted to find out?
Send me a message on Facebook, Trevor Jacek, look me up, or follow me on Instagram. It's Trevor Jacek, Jacek, all run together, and shoot me a message. And if you're interested in starting out, everyone can start, right? If you want to get involved, you want to throw shot put or long jump or run 3,000 meters, 500 meters, whatever the distance is, and become the best version of yourself, everyone can get into it and just have some fun with it, and you never know where it'll take you.
Thanks so much for coming down, and best of luck in 23 and 24.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Randy.
We're going to come right back after this break.